Hey everybody, we are officially live. I'm so excited to kick off our first mentor workshop of the semester. So I'm running a couple minutes behind today. So we'll get started in just a few minutes. So if you're watching this live, or rather if you're watching the recording of this, feel free to fast forward by about 5 minutes or so. Um, but yeah, so we're gonna start here in just a few minutes. But we are getting Jolene to send out the workshop details to everybody. To all of our mentors right now. Um, so it is officially live. Alrighty. So, anyways, if you are tuning in, please feel free to introduce yourself in the chat. We're gonna get started at five after because I recognize I was running behind today, and that definitely, I want to make sure everyone can join and ask questions and participate and all the fun things that go along with the live workshop. So if you are here, we got already 12 people. Introduce yourself in the chat. We're gonna get started at five after. So, hey, Ren, welcome. I'm excited to have you as a mentor. I know I normally get on 10 minutes ahead of time to get everything out there. Today was a long day. And today was one of those days where I was just a little bit behind on every meeting. Have y'all ever been in one of those days where like every meeting went right up or after the time it was supposed to end and no meetings got lost or got canceled and it just went back to back. That was today for me at least, and it normally is not like this. So I want to preface that. Eric Dudley out of Idaho, very cool. Thanks for joining in from Accokeek, Maryland. Very nice. Hey, Jay Fawn. Daniel. Looking forward to having you as a mentor. Hey, Tony. Welcome, welcome. Hello, Eloise. So this is my water jug. I don't know. My accountability jug. I got to drink 1 gallon of water in a day. That's my hydration goal. And if I hit it, then I've hit my hydration goal for the day. Hey, Helena from Charlotte, North Carolina. Hey, Thomas, watch from Wichita, Kansas. Very cool. Ria in London. Very cool. It's late for you. It's got to be about like midnight there. Well, thank you so much for taking the time for being here. That's awesome. If you're in Europe and you're making this first mentor workshop live, I can appreciate you more than you realize. We're gonna, like I said, I'm gonna give this till five after just to allow people to jump in, only because I know I only hopped on like a few minutes before 6 o'clock Central Time, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. Um, by the way, I'm in Austin, Texas. I don't know if anybody else here is from Texas. Oh, yeah, Rosalind, Dallas, Texas. Very nice. Amber from Kent, Ohio. Melina from Michigan. Brittany from Tennessee. Brenda from Albany, New York. Lucy from Maryland. Very cool. Awesome. Everybody's starting to funnel in. That is fantastic. We're going to get started in 3 minutes. 3 minutes in counting. So, any fun fall plans? Y'all like watching the leaves change? I'm a big fan of fall. I think fall might be one of my favorite seasons. I don't think it was when I grew up. When I grew up, I think it was like spring/summer, but I grew up in like the Chicago area, um, where it's really temperate. And now I live in Austin, Texas, and the summer is just very unbearably hot. And I think as an adult, I don't know, I've adjusted to liking fall better. But anyways, what's your favorite season? Post in the comments. I'd love to learn. Hey, Haley from Massachusetts. Hey, Janelle. Familiar face, familiar name. Janelle, you've been a part of this mentor program for years. So it's always great seeing you to sign back up every semester. It's always great to see you here. Good day, Bo from Howard University, Washington, D.C. Very nice. Manuelo, hello. Got Lorena from Los Angeles. Yeah, I agree, Manuela. Fall is great. Fall is your favorite? Spring? Spring is nice. I don't know. This is weird. There's this thing called ophthalmic programming where like when you smell something, it brings you back to a memory. And the thing I always think about spring that always brings me good memories, and I know this is gonna sound strange, but when I smell like grass fertilizer, it makes me think of like soccer and flag football and just like spring sports. And that, I don't know, that's one of the things that I love most about spring is like the smell of grass fertilizer because it takes me back to like being on a soccer field or playing flag football or just, I don't know, being out on a field playing a sport. Hey, Jose from San Juan. Dan, a true Arizona resident. I love it. Under 100, got the hot tub out. I love it. Cut grass equals soccer. Yeah, right. I'm totally with you on that. All right, 1 minute before we get started. I'm glad that we had everybody here. For those of you who've joined in a little bit more recently, within the last couple minutes, you want to introduce yourself in the chat where you're tuning in from, that'd be great. Julianne from Boston, Sydney from Morgantown, Virginia. That's awesome. Thanks for saying hey. Um, cool. Well, we are almost there. All right, it is officially 6:05 here in Central Time, 7:05 on the East Coast, 4:05 on the West Coast. I don't know what time it is in London. I think it's probably a little past midnight. But either way, I'm so excited, so grateful to have you all here as a mentor this upcoming fall semester. In this meeting today, what we're going to cover is why being a mentor is so important, what you should expect from the mentor program, how and why we paired you with your mentee, and really just next steps for the program and just high level tips on how to be a good mentor in general. So let's dive in. Um, at Ambition in Motion, by the way, I'm Garrett Mintz. I'm the founder and CEO of Ambition in Motion. At Ambition in Motion, our vision is a world where the vast majority of people are excited to go to work. When they are there, their expectations meet reality, and when they come home, they feel fulfilled. And we believe that starts with leaders. We believe that leaders create the experiences people have at work, employees have while at work. And so we create technologies and communities to empower leaders to be their best selves for their teams. And I believe that being a mentor is one of the truest forms of being a leader, because ultimately, as a mentor, you're helping someone figure out their career path. You're helping someone decipher where they want to go professionally. Um, just a little bit of background on me. You might be thinking to yourself, like, okay, who is this guy? Why does he know about mentorship? What is his background? Um, my background, I started Ambition in Motion in 2013, originally to help college students reduce additional semesters of college. I had a lot of friends who were taking additional semesters or additional years, not realizing that, oh my gosh, this is a $50,000 expenditure that they weren't fully aware that they were going to like have to pay off and just all the ramifications that went along with that. And so I started Ambition in Motion, initially to help college students reduce additional semesters of college. But I got into this space because I needed mentors in my life. Um, just being a little vulnerable here. From age 15 to age 19, I was a drug dealer. Um, at the end of my freshman year at Indiana University, I got arrested. I received 5 felony distribution charges. I was expelled from school and facing prison time. I had no idea where I was going to go. I had no idea what I was going to do. But I fortunately had some people in my life who saw something in me that I didn't quite see in myself. And they gave me some opportunities. Um, one of the opportunities I got, I moved. I found a program called At the Crossroads. It's not necessarily a rehab program as much as it's a program for young men and women who are at the crossroads in their life. And I was able to get into this program. It's based out of St. George, Utah. And about a month and a half after moving to Utah, I flew back home to Chicago to let my family know my life's getting on track. And on that flight, I'm reading the book How to Win Friends and Influence People. By the way, if you've read that book, give a shout out in the comments. It's a fantastic book. So I'm reading this book How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And this guy sits next to me on the plane and he's like, "What is a 19-year-old doing this reading this 100-year-old book?" And we strike up a conversation and by the time the plane lands in Chicago, he says, "By the way, when you get back from, or he said, by the way, I'm the director of ground equipment for SkyWest Airlines. When you get back from Chicago, what would you think about doing an internship with us in our ground equipment department? Just like that, on the spot. Gave me a job offer. I couldn't even believe it. I remember when I came home to my family and I told them about this job offer, they were like, Garrett, stop lying. Like I was in a point where I was a pretty big failure up to that point. And I remember my first day on the job, HR does like the fingerprint background check scan. And they go up to Troy, that's the guy who hired me. They're like, Troy, this guy might go to prison in the next 6 months. What are you thinking? And he stuck his neck out for me. He gave me a chance. And I recognize that I have a lot of privilege. I recognize that as a white man in America, there's a lot of luck that was involved in the scenario that I was in getting the opportunities that I received. I fortunately took advantage of all these opportunities. So I have this internship. The guy who runs this At the Crossroad program sees me, in this internship, and he decides that I'm his star pupil. And so he starts introducing me to other business owners and executives in the Southern Utah area. And I had, I got a lot of connections. I started building tons and tons of connections, and I was really lucky. But some of the other people in my program weren't so lucky. They were relapsing, they were stealing, they were just not turning their life around. And I thought to myself, what if I could connect these young men and women with mentors that could help them figure out their career path and what they wanted to do professionally? And so, maybe to the chagrin of Brian, the person who runs the At the Crossroads program, I started making intros. I started taking these young people to Goodwill to get them a suit. I started teaching them how to network in a genuine way and how to get their foot in the door, and I loved it. I was doing this under the nonprofit Building Utah Youth, and long story short, court system ended up seeing what I was doing. They ended up dropping my felonies to a misdemeanor conviction. I ended up getting re-enrolled at Indiana University. I got into the Kelley School of Business, and shortly thereafter, I started Ambition in Motion. So we initially started connecting college students locally at Indiana with local mentors. And I was running these on campus workshops, teaching students how to network in a genuine way, or how to use LinkedIn, or how to get their foot in the door. And then one of the students one of the young women in this group came to me and said, Hey, I'm the director of alumni relations for my sorority. We're tearing our sorority house down. We're building it back up. We want you to run this program, but for all of our sorority sisters and our alumni, because one, this is a great program. Two, we think this could help, connect our sisters with our alumni. And then three, maybe these alumni might want to donate or at least get back involved with the house now that they know that our house is getting rebuilt. Well, their national headquarters heard about this and they said, Garrett, we want you to do this, but for all of our chapters nationwide. And I was like, sure. And so we'll figure it out. And so we did, and eventually grew to hundreds of campuses. And we've since 2013 facilitated thousands of mentor relationships. And it's been really cool. It's been really rewarding. One of the best things I've ever done is help people figure out their career path by connecting them with mentors. And this program cannot run and cannot exist without amazing mentors like you. Um, anyways, I just real quick, I want to cover why being a mentor is so important. There's studies, there's research on this. So, according to the Gallup Purdue Great Jobs, Great Lives report, what they identified was that college students who have mentors are nearly 3 times as likely to thrive in their livelihoods than students who do not have mentors. College students who have mentors through their organization show greater levels of positive emotional feelings towards their organization as alumni. College students who have mentors are 32% more likely to be engaged in their work compared to students that don't have mentors. And then outside of the impact students, being a mentor is extremely rewarding in the sense that it can teach you new things and provide you somebody in which you can bounce things off of. So mentoring, and I know you might think, oh, it's only one semester, it's just a couple months. Like, how impactful can this possibly be? It can be incredibly impactful. So I really just want to impress upon you how grateful I am that you'd be willing to take the time to be a mentor for a student. It really does have an impact. And you might think, oh, it's just a few conversations, like it's no biggie. How can it be that impactful? Just having another professional that they can bounce things off of is incredibly, incredibly impactful. I mean, I've been doing this now for over a decade, and the amount of students that come back into the program, not only as mentors, but just come back to say things to me where they're saying, like, you know, this program has been incredibly valuable to me, and this has helped open doors to so many things. I know I gave a shout out to Janelle Walters earlier, but Janelle, you've been a part of this program, I gotta say, for at least 5 years. I mean, I feel like I've worked with you every semester for a very long time. And it's so great to see that. And not just you, but I mean, so many people who've been a part of this program for decades having them come back and say how impactful having a mentor was to their own career pursuits and what they're trying to do professionally is incredibly valuable and incredibly rewarding. And yeah, the program cannot exist without amazing mentors like you. So I wanted to give you a shout out and just let you know how grateful I am to have you as a mentor this semester. So let's talk about the three keys to being successful as a mentor. There are three keys to being successful as a mentor, and that is honing your strategy, honing your story, and honing your state. And I said those in reverse order of importance. When I say state, what I mean is your physical state. How are you coming into a mentor conversation? I get it. You've got work, you've got other life things, you got family, you might have kids, you might have to be waking up multiple times in the middle of the night to feed your baby milk and all the things that go along with that. I've got a 6 month old, so I'm in that right now. But the point I'm getting at is that at the end of the day, how you show up in your mentor relationship has a resounding impact in their experience of you as their mentor. So if you come in sad, mad, dejected, angry, depressed, whatever's going on in your world, if you're letting that affect you from a physical state, like your state being, it's going to show up in your body language. And so one of the things that I like to do to get myself into a state like physically conducive to being a great mentor is I like to shake it out. I like to get my blood flowing. I like to play sports. I like to do some jumping jacks. I like to get into a star pose or a power pose. I just like to do things that get my blood flowing. I like to scream at the top of my lungs because ultimately I recognize that if I can come into this one meeting with a little bit extra energy, with a little bit extra oomph, I can do a lot to help this mentor relationship be successful. And I'm going to do everything I can to be a successful mentor by putting myself into a state conducive to being in a high energy, high, um, just like a strong state for being a mentor. The second key thing to being a great mentor is your story. So the story is the story you tell yourself for why you will or will not be successful. And the reason why I bring this up is that if you tell yourself a negative self-talk, if you tell yourself why you're going to be a bad mentor, that you can't be helpful, or if you can't do this or you can't do that, you I promise you're going to manifest whatever outcome you believe is what you deserve. So the question I have for you is why will you be a great mentor? Post in the comments. I'd love to learn, but what makes you a great mentor? Are you a great question asker? Are you naturally curious? Are you a good listener? Are you good at helping people digest situations? Are you good at helping people see things from a new lens? What is your unique strength? Post in the comment section for why you will be a great mentor. And the reason why I like doing this exercise with our mentors and having them actually post it is it reinforces this behavior. Because ultimately, if you tell yourself, I'm going to be a great mentor because I'm going to be there for my mentee, I'm going to ask questions, I'm going to be on time, I'm going to be curious, whatever characteristic you determine you want to be known for you as a mentor, you're much more likely to manifest it if you put it out into the ether, if you put it out in the open, if you put it out into the comment section of our YouTube live stream right now, you're much more likely to manifest that outcome because you've now put it out to the world. And so now you're holding yourself accountable to whatever that thing you said you would do. So, anyways, the story you tell yourself for why you will or won't be successful is enormous. So let's tell ourselves a story for why we will be successful. I like to apply it to sports. You know, when the clock is running down 3, 2, 1, and we take a 3 pointer, those basketball players are running that scenario through their mind over and over and over again. This is not the first time they've thought about this situation. And so when the ball goes into the hoop, they're not particularly surprised. Why? Because they played it in their mind a million times. Same is true for mentorship. If we play into our mind a scenario as to what being a positive mentor looks like and visualize this, we're much more likely to manifest that outcome of being a really great mentor. But if we don't think about it, if we just kind of fly by the seat of our pants or we just wing it, it can go in any direction. And then the last thing is your strategy. So the strategy is the thing that you do to help your mentee better work through the situation. This could sometimes be a resume review. This could be a mock interview. This could be making introductions. This could be reviewing their LinkedIn. This could be so many different things. But ultimately, the strategies are the things that you do from a tactical level to help your mentee figure out what they want to do professionally and take those next steps towards those professional outcomes. So, any questions about strategy, story, or state? I'm going to look at the comment section, see what we got cooking here. Great. I love, by the way, great answers, everybody. Rosalind, incredibly self-aware and insightful. Lorena, you're a good listener and helping people reach their goals. I love it. Cyber, experience a similar situation. That's great. I love it. These are great answers. I love it. I love it. I love it. Sabrina, you're very understanding. This is great. Shala, you're a great listener. I grade it. Grace, great listening to other people. I love it. I think that's fantastic. These are all great answers here, everybody. Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. Just making sure I'm not missing any questions. If you've asked the question, I don't see, and I have not seen your question, post it in the chat and I'll come back to it. Okay, so let's dive into the next step. How we paired you with your mentee. So there's this area of research on your dashboard. You'll see this, but I'll show it to you anyways. We'll do some screen sharing here. So there's this area of research called work orientation. Some people view their work as a job, some people view their work as a career, and some people view their work as a calling. I don't know if y'all can see my screen, but there's not a right or wrong work orientation. It's not good or bad. It's on a spectrum, so you can be in between categories, and it's fluid. So where you were 5 years ago could be different from where you're at today. But what we learned is that when two people's work orientations are aligned at this given moment in time, the likelihood that relationship lasts for 6 months and is considered productive and quality from a mentorship perspective is 4 times greater than if it's just based on what you do. Essentially, it's based on why you do your work. So you might be paired with a mentee who's studying something maybe a little bit different than maybe what you might expect. Maybe they're in a different degree path or pursuing a different career path than maybe what your career path was. That's okay. From a mentorship perspective, the best mentors aren't ones to say, hey, this is how I got my job and this is what you should do professionally. No, the best mentors are curious. They ask good questions. They share genuine curiosity in scenarios for their mentee. And so if you're career oriented, you're motivated by growth and learning new skills. If you're job oriented, you're motivated by work-life balance. If you're calling oriented, you're motivated by personal and professional mission alignment. What you do is much less relevant than the actual why behind why you do it. And so that's what work orientation gathers, and that's what we gathered in our initial assessment with you all before you signed up for this mentor program. So if you log into your dashboard, you can see what your work orientation is, and you'll be able to see how your mentee's orientation likely is very similar to yours. So next step on this meeting for today, I want to talk about how we're preparing the students for meeting with you. So our AIM workshops teach students skills to prepare for meeting with you, their mentor. So we bring speakers from across the world, from different insights and different different executive levels to discuss different topics for our students. So for the student mentee workshops, our topics are how to get your foot in the door for professional opportunities, how to network in a genuine way, how to prepare for the interview, and how to prepare for that first job or internship. By the way, if you're interested in watching these workshops, they're all on our YouTube channel. Rather, they become live on our YouTube channel throughout the semester. So if you're subscribed to this YouTube channel, we'll keep you updated. I also post a lot of great leadership and executive content too. So if you're genuinely fascinated about like leadership or what executives are doing or, how leaders are working through certain challenges, yeah, you'll really like our content and I think it'd probably be worth subscribing to. For our alumni mentee program, so these are for alumni who've graduated and have maybe gotten in their career and have thought to themselves like, man, I would love to get a mentor. I don't know if this was the career path I thought it was. So the alumni mentee program, what that's all about is the workshops are how to transition into management, how to determine when is the right time to switch jobs, how to determine when is the right time to pursue additional education, and then how to manage conflict in the workplace. So they're all great workshops, really, really interesting, really, really relevant. But the goal is to just teach students skills to help them teach mentee skills rather, to equip them to make progress professionally so then they have options and pathways to their desired careers outside of solely just relying on you. It's a lot easier to mentor somebody when you are guiding them as opposed to them putting all of their eggs in your basket to help them with their internship search, for example. So, what to expect from the mentor relationship. So, Jolene has made the intros, or she's currently making them. So, if you haven't gotten your intro yet, don't worry, don't fret. She has not given me the final green light that she's made all the intros yet. But she is in the process of making them. You've likely already gotten introduced to your mentee earlier today. If not, they will come later this evening or early tomorrow. You can expect your student to have varying degrees of progress towards their career goals. They might be freshmen where they're just trying to figure out where the heck they're at professionally, or they could be seniors with an internship already locked up or a job offer already locked up, and they're just trying to get more guidance and mentorship as they pursue their career path. They are not asking you to be all of their answers for them. What they are asking from you is to be curious, to ask them good questions, and for them to be open with you as just as much as you can be open with them. The best mentors ask the best questions and they take the time to listen. So, these workshops will be running throughout the program, throughout the semester. Our next workshop will be in a week from today. Our next one will be in early November. And then our last workshop will be in late November. They are all live. So if you've got questions, if you've got insights, if you've got things you want to share, we do them live so then you can ask questions and interact with me while I'm running them. I don't know. I think it's a good touch to be able to be live with you and say hey and I don't know, just work with you because having the canned pre-recorded messages, those are fun and all, but it seems more authentic in my mind if I can be with you live to just answer your questions. And by the way, if you can't attend it live, I also totally understand. You're busy. You've got a lot of things going on. These are all recorded. So the link that Jolene shared with you right before this workshop is the same link that you can use to watch the recording of this. So whether you're watching this live with me right now or you're watching the recording of this, you can do either or. If you want to watch this again, you are more than welcome to as well. But they're always available to you. And you can look at the mentor workshop dates in your mentor guidebook. Jolene can send them to you as well. So, anyways, this has been a great workshop. This has been a great first start to the workshop. Sina, can you explain the last key to success as a mentor? So strategy. So the strategy, what I mean by that is what are the things that you do? So the three keys of being a successful mentor: strategy, story, state. Story, that is your physical state. I'm going through this too quickly. Strategy, story, state. Your state is your physical state. Like, how are you doing? What are you doing to physically get yourself into a state conducive to being a successful mentor? You coming in hunched over, sad, not feeling so great, or are you coming in, excited and energetic? And the fun thing about your body and endorphins is that you can get yourself really excited and jazzed up from just jumping around and getting your body physically active right before a meeting. Story, that is a story you tell yourself for why you will be successful. And then your strategy are the things that you do to help be the best mentor you can be for your mentee. This could mean introductions. This could be doing mock interviews. This could be helping them with their LinkedIn. This could be helping them with their resume. This could be helping them with their cover letter. It could be a variety of different things. Helping them analyze, hey, was this, interview legit? Do you think I feel like, what do you think about this company's culture? Here's my take on the situation. What do you think? Those are the strategies that I mean those are the strategies that I'm referring to when I say how you can be a great mentor is by focusing on that. So strategy, story, state. Those are the three. Will they send the information to our email or where will we find the information? So the intro will come via your email, but if you want to see like your work orientation, that's in your dashboard. So if you go back into ambitionemotion.com/login, I'll post that in the chat. Um, you can log back in and be able to see your work orientation there. So great question. As well as like who your mentee is and all that sort of fun stuff. I love that, Joshua. Thanks for sharing that. No, how empowering it is to feel seen, heard, and validated. That's great. Speaking of strategy, is there a specific model that we are expected to follow? No, I do have suggested agendas, and I know my colleague Jolene gave you a suggested agenda when she made that mentor introduction today. By the way, if you have not seen the mentor introduction, check your spam folder first. And if you still don't have it, email Jolene, support@ambitionemotion.com. I'll put that over in the chat as well. Whoops. She, I know, is still making the intro. She's not giving me the final thumbs up that she's made all the mentor introductions yet. So if you're encountering a scenario where you're like, where's my mentee? What's going on? First, check your spam folder. I want to impress upon you to hit that because that sometimes emails go to spam, sometimes spam blockers are on. Whitelist our email so then it comes through and you don't miss an email again, both from us as well as your mentee. And then secondly, if you don't see it in your spam, check by tomorrow morning. We should have all the mentor introductions by then. Any other questions? Oh, and then yeah, for JFon, in terms of like a model from mentorship, that's why these workshops are great. I'm going to give you suggested questions, suggested tips, suggested things that you can focus on in your mentor conversations throughout the course of the semester. So when we have our next mentor workshop in a week from today, the exact same time, so October 15th, exact same time as today. I'm going to give tips and suggestions on how to be a great mentor, questions to think about, questions to ponder, and questions to ask your mentees. So there'll be a lot of tips throughout the semester that I'll provide. Um, but yeah, anyways, that's it's not actually a model as it is just suggestions because I recognize like you've got your own personality, you've got your own way of doing things, and I don't want to mess with your flow. Like at the end of the day, you will have your own unique way of being a mentor for a student or a mentee, and I don't, I find that it's more natural when you can be more natural as a mentor, just practicing curiosity, than if you're trying to follow some regiment that I give to you, because ultimately it won't be natural. So, what has worked for me in terms of my mentorship style may not be the thing that works for you either. But I'm going to give you high level tips and suggestions and things to think about that you could apply to your own personality as you mentor students. Lloyd, how do you recommend facilitating the calls? FaceTime, Zoom, phone call? Highly great question, Lloyd. I highly recommend a video chat. If you can do Zoom, Google Meet, Teams, whatever, Skype, that is first prize. If you can't do a video chat, phone call is the next best. But I mean, shoot, you get so much from body language if you can see each other face to face. So I highly, highly, highly recommend a video chat if you can do it. If you cannot do it, that's also understandable and makes sense. Should we wait for the mentor introduction before reaching out? Yes, Dan, that's a good question. What I would say, wait for the mentor intro to come from Jolene. It could be in your spam folder. I'm still waiting to hear back from Jolene to make sure that she's finalized all the mentor introductions. Um, so if you haven't gotten it, it will be there by tomorrow. Definitely guarantee it. Um, if you don't get it by tomorrow, email Jolene at support@ambitionmotion.com and we can get you taken care of. But yes, the intro should be out by tomorrow at the latest. Jasmine, I'm new to mentoring, but I don't know who I will be helping. Jolene, my colleague, will send you an email if she hasn't already. So check out your spam folder if, God forbid, her email introduction to your mentee isn't there. You can also log into your dashboard. Just go to ambitionemotion.com/login, that link that I put in the chat, where you can see your mentee. Lorena, just received the introduction. Thank you. Fantastic. Yeah, Jolene is great. Yeah, Cyber, I saw an attachment that provides suggestions in one of our emails. If I'm not mistaken, that's exactly right. In that email intro, Jolene is including a suggested agenda for your first mentor conversation. It's a guide. You don't need to use all of it. It's just a guide. But if you're like, oh, what do we talk about? Or, oh, like we're trying to figure out like, what we should chat about. This is the agenda is a great starting point. And then in these workshops, I'm going to give you suggestions of questions to ask in your mentor conversations too. So there's a lot of yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of tips and guides that you will get from us in terms of things that you can talk about in your mentor conversations, questions you can ask, all that sort of fun stuff. Will there be a need to upload a video chat of the meetings? No, Janelle, you are well, if you're as a mentee, yes. If you're a mentee, you will need to update that you've met with your mentor on the website. As a mentor, you don't need to do anything. You're totally fine. So, as the mentor, you're totally good. Just show up to these workshops and ask questions and watch these videos. As a mentee, you will need to upload it. So, Janelle, I know you participated both as a mentee and a mentor. So, just full transparency from a mentee side, yes. As a mentor, no. Oh, fantastic. Sydney, your mentee introduced themselves over LinkedIn. I love that. Nothing makes me feel better. I think LinkedIn is such a great tool. I am not paid by LinkedIn, but I'm a big advocate for it. Uh, I just think LinkedIn's great. So the fact that your mentee reached out to you on LinkedIn is fantastic. Yes, if you've not got anything, check tomorrow. Jolene has not finished all the intros yet. I know, I think it was Lorena who said that she just received it. I know Jolene is still putting together all the. There's a lot of intros. We work with hundreds of mentor pairings close to 1,000 mentor pairings every semester. So there's a lot of emails Jolene is sending out. So be patient. It is coming. Um, it's on the way. So Sabrina, it's on the way. Uh, Zakidra, you definitely need to get LinkedIn. I highly recommend it. Love LinkedIn. Yeah, Jay Wild for sure. So, any other questions? By the way, great questions, everybody. And yes, like Dana, wait till tomorrow. Jolene is going through it right now. So I would just say, bear with us as we're making all these intros. Any other questions? I'm just keeping an eye on the chat here. Well, everybody, thank you all for being here. Oh, Sabrina, what are the benefits of being a mentor slash mentee? Great question. As a mentor, it's incredibly valuable to, I mean, I shared these statistics before, but I mean, students who have a mentor nearly three times as likely to thrive in their careers and their livelihoods as students that don't have mentors. And college students who have mentors are 32% more likely to be engaged in the work compared to students that don't have mentors. And so, outside of the impact to students, just being a mentor is extremely rewarding in the sense that it can teach you new things, provide you with somebody in which you can bounce things off of, and ultimately kind of help you give back. It's just a great way of giving back and being supportive to another person as they figure out their own career path, and likely give someone that you can help and be supportive of. And then as a mentee, it's a great way to learn from other people and to get guidance. So yeah, great question, Sabrina. What is the time frame to reach out to the mentee? If you've gotten the email intro, I would start right away. If you've gotten the email introduction, get started immediately. Send out an email to your mentee. Manuela, if you can't get into your dashboard, you can reset your password on the AIM Insights, on the Ambition Emotion website. So if you have any issues with that, yeah, if you have any issues with getting in, you can always reset your password. But yeah, Althea, great question. What is the time frame? Um, Reach out immediately, and then over the course of this semester, so essentially until December 15th, our minimum is that you have 30-minute calls with that mentee. If you have more than that and you're open to giving more than that, like that's amazing and lovely. But the minimum requirement is 30-minute calls over the course of the next 3 months, essentially. Juliana, hey Garrett, when you've needed advice or coaching, what approach has been the most helpful for you? Do you prefer direct tactical suggestions or more high-level discussion and reflection? Great question. So I personally have I get executive coaching like every week. In fact, the reason why I was running late was because I had an executive coaching call. I like to do my executive coaching sessions while on a walk, so that's also why I looked a little bit sweaty. But yeah, I like to walk and get coached at the same time. Um, but the question is, do I like to be direct tactical suggestions or more high level discussion and reflection? I lean towards high level discussion and reflection. I like to ask questions because ultimately at the end of the day, your mentee isn't you. And so the way that they would approach a situation might not necessarily be the same way that you approach that situation. And so my suggestion to you is, or my suggestion to anybody who's a mentor, is to practice asking questions that can help your mentee lead down a best path of action that they have determined for themselves, not that you've determined for them. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what I'm trying to go for with that is just ultimately help them decipher what is the best path forward for themselves, not tell them. Sydney, I noticed in the dashboard there's a notes section for mentors along with the agenda under meeting one. Are we required to put? No, you are not required to put in notes. Those notes are just for you. So if you're like, oh, my mentee and I talked about, so yeah, this is Sydney's question, but my mentee asked this or talked about this thing. If you want to take a note in the notes section, that's just for you. So then you can review it at a later date if you so choose. So yeah, cyber is the answers to guide. Yes, yeah. The answer is to guide people. It's to say like, okay, I'll give an example, and I'll give more examples throughout the semester in our future workshops. But let's say if like a student is contemplating whether or not they want to apply for an internship. If you were to say, hey, go and apply for that internship, that's not now necessarily their idea. But if you were to say, okay, what is the ultimate goal that you're trying to achieve from your own collegiate education as well as your professional career? Oh, your goal is to achieve this. Well, how are you going to get to that? Oh, well, I'm going to have to get some experiences. Great. What do you think you need to do to get the experiences you need so then you can land that career? Well, I probably need an internship. Okay. Well, then do you think you should apply for that internship? Yeah, 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 definitely. And I know that sounds longer and more drawn out, but I tell you what, helping that mentee and that person get to that conclusion makes it their conclusion, not your conclusion, and that's huge. Samantha, Simon, when they set the path, they are more likely to put an effort or do the work, so to say. Yeah, no, exactly. Samantha, you are absolutely right. Cool. Any other final questions before we wrap? What requirements do I need to upload to the dashboard as a mentor? Nothing. Just you don't need to upload anything to the dashboard. The only thing that needs to be uploaded is by the mentees. And if you are on this call, you are a mentor. Unless I guess maybe you could be a mentor and a mentee. But if you are a mentor for these specific purposes, you do not need to upload anything to the dashboard. You can just look at it to see your work orientation. You can see suggested agendas, your contact information of your mentee, but it's really all on the mentee to do all the uploading and that sort of stuff. Any other final questions? Well, everybody, okay, little teaser. Next week, what we're going to talk about is how to set proper expectations for the mentor relationship, how to handle issues if you have any issues with your mentees, and how to help students with key issues they face on a regular basis, like finding balance and identifying a vision. So that's what we're going to cover in our workshop next week, same exact time, 6 o'clock Central Time, 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific, next Wednesday, the 15th. Everybody, thank you for being here. Thank you for being so engaged and interactive. Oh, we got one more. Sydney, will we see what the mentees upload? No, they're just there to report that they met with you and on what date. That's all they're doing. Awesome. Well, everybody, thank you for being here. Thank you for your time, engagement, and your attention. I'm so excited for you all to get started mentoring your students and your mentees. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I'll see y'all in a week.